lived experience because I've done a lot of frontline jobs and I don't have any fancy political science degrees or finance experience like Charles. But I am planning on challenging the status quo and shaking things up. And I know obviously that because of the current climate, my party is not necessarily the most popular at the moment. But what I can at least offer you is that I'm going to be here to show up and work for you guys through the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. And I want to get to know each and every one of you over the next little while. I also wanted to include the fact that I'm not someone who's just going to throw out fancy policy jargon and, promise this and that or whatever. I believe in being realistic, and I know that a lot of people are struggling right now, and I can sympathize with that because I have also been there as well. So that's sort of what I'm going to bring to the table, and I know that many of you are going to feel like I'm an unknown and you'd rather go with the safer option, but I am someone who wants to be here and show that there is going to be a future for me and my party, regardless of what you plan on doing this time around. Thanks.
I just want to do my opening statement here so I can be clear and that you can hear me. Evelyn, thank you for showing up. Thank you, Mary, as well. And thank you all for being here and the organizers for putting it together. It's critically important that the community understand where we all are coming from. And this community is extremely engaged. People care. People in this community are compassionate, and they know what's at stake. Now, I came back into politics 2.5 years ago during a by-election at the height of the pandemic. We were in a crisis. We were in turmoil. And the Liberal government stood by the community, by workers, by families to provide support when needed. Today, we're in another crisis. It too is threatening our community and our sovereignty. And we need to stand strong, and we need to be united across Canada. And I am encouraged by Quebecers, for example, asking for Canadian flags, recognizing that the alternative is not who we are as Canadians. And those values need to stand strong. And certainly Mark Carney has done his utmost in the short period of time that he's been there to try to unite Canada, bring the premiers together, and more importantly, deal with foreign entities and foreign leaders to ensure that we expand our trade routes. I came into this thing with 4 priorities back in 2007, after 25 years in the private sector and banking. One is the economy. Build those jobs, create prosperity so that we can support our second priority, which is social programs. Right now we have dental care, pharmacare, child care. We have health care, education, pension supports. Those need to be protected. My third priority, and it's so much critical now than ever before, and that's national unity. I was involved in nation-building exercise trying to get one capital markets regulator to make us more competitive. I was instrumental in enhancing CPP alongside the government. These things are critical to Canadians and to our community. And my last priority is Canada on the world stage, to ensure that we are those peacekeepers, to ensure that we earn the respect of other nations for what we are doing. And we are earning more respect than ever before because we're standing up to a bully in the United States. Those leaders are calling Mark Carney right now, who's recognized around the world for the tremendous work that he's done over the past 2 decades. We need strong leadership to move us forward. And locally, I thank you for inspiring me. Many of you I've worked with in the past to try to remediate and revitalize our waterfront, to protect us from emissions. A coal plant, the Four Sisters, I grew up at the base of those sisters. And now, I'm glad that we have a revitalized waterfront. We need to do more to protect our environment, to protect our waterfront, to protect ourselves and our future. Thank you all for being here.
I too will stand because I am short and you can't see me from up there. Good evening. I am honored to be here on the treaty lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit this evening and privileged to call Mississauga Lakeshore home. My name is Mary Kidnew, for those that don't know me. I have applied for the position to be your Member of Parliament for Mississauga Lakeshore. I want to work for you. We are facing a critical point in our history. We have a climate crisis, in case you didn't know, the outcomes of which are affecting our communities, our food security, and our economy. We have a democratic crisis, both in our electoral system and also in our House of Commons. We have an affordability crisis. It's causing increase in homelessness, a threefold increase in food bank use in the past 6 years alone. And because of this, there have been increased burdens to our cities. We are stripping people of hope. We're leaving people behind without proper social safety nets. We have a lot of systems in place, but they are failing. They're falling apart. Failing the most vulnerable in our society: seniors, youth, people with disabilities, and now the non-existent middle class. And I view it as a direct response to the increase in crime that we see in our communities. At the most recent, I don't know where I went. Our relationship, most recent crisis, right, is our relationship with our biggest trading partner to the south. But it's taking away from conversations about caring for each other. Did you know that we're still within an opioid crisis in our country, and that youth in Indigenous communities are still at risk? Why aren't these the front and center of our campaign platforms? How do we tackle this? We do it together. On climate change, we need to stop funding big oil, especially the multinational-owned companies. On democracy, we need electoral reform, and we need it now where we needed it a decade ago, right? In our House of Commons, we need to ensure that our MPs are working for their communities, that they're putting the needs of their communities before their partisan politics. On affordability, we really need to invest in rental housing, purpose-built rental housing across our country. It is so important. We have to ensure that there's access to food. We have to implement, I believe, a basic income to help support people at all stages of life, especially artists, small business owners, and seniors. And then we need to ensure that there's funding programs like the Jordan's Principle are not dependent on whether or not government is sitting in the House of Commons. And I want to help to bring out, reduce poverty so that we can help people give hope. Anyways, there's not a single idea that one of us is going to come up with or a solution, but as Canadians, we need to truly learn to work together for bold actions. I'm grateful to be here tonight, and I really look forward to your questions. Thank you.
All right. Now, the candidates have chosen, just in a random order, to respond to some of the questions. So there are 6 questions, but they won't all be answering it. But you can ask them further questions when you're up at the mic, or they can address the topics in their closing. We just didn't want it to be so repetitive that you had to listen to everybody answer the exact same question. So the first one, the U.S. president has made clear that he wants to annex Canada for our vast resources and is using tariffs to weaken our economy. What are your views on this threat, and how should Canada respond? Evelyn, and then Mary.
Is it okay if I stay here instead of go up there? Yeah? Okay. Easier for me. Okay, so this is what everyone wants to know about because it's all we ever talk about right now at the doors is the U.S. and that person who's leading that country. Let me be clear. Annexation and becoming the 51st state is absolute nonsense. It's not going to happen. I mean, we're being honest. Like, it's laughable at best. That's not even something that should be discussed. But I do think that overall, the current situation, it gives us the opportunity to look at sort of where we are in our relationship with the U.S. as kind of the parent-child dynamic, and this will give us a chance to hopefully, if we're forced to break away from the U.S. a little bit, to become more independent. And we're becoming, very proud Canadians right now and saying Canada strong and all those things you see on social media. So I do think that this is going to be a good opportunity to build our own identity and sort of remind ourselves that we don't need to be reliant on our border to the south. And obviously, right now, the popular thing is to, you're in the grocery store and you're, buying Canadian and, we're rejecting everything American. So I do think that there is going to need to be a strengthening of a lot of our, industries, whether it's manufacturing or logistics or our auto sector.